If he moves, the leopard will see him. Lying flat on his stomach, the boy has no choice but to watch as the spotted beast tears into his father before his very eyes. Pressed in the ferns, just a few trees away, the boy knows that any small movement he makes could prove fatal. A leopard this size, fresh into a kill, will have no issue crossing the distance between them in a heartbeat and doing exactly what it did to his father, to him. The boy is utterly powerless. All he can do is stay deathly still and watch. They had spotted the tracks too late. On the way back to the village, they had been following the jungle trail that hugs the riverside cliffs, boar and bow slung over their shoulders. They had been so proud of the hunt and the thought of bringing it back to the village that they had not kept their wits about them. By the time they had seen the paw prints pressed deep into the mud, the sound of something large and fast was already moving through the trees behind them. The boy's bow is too far out of reach. He dropped it when his father shoved him into the ferns. He has the knife at his belt, but he doubts it would do much more than anger a creature this size. One swipe of the leopard's paw and he would be... A snake slides past his arm in the shadows. The boy flinches. A sharp gasp escapes him before he can stop it. The leopard's head snaps up instantly. Those wide, golden eyes sweep across the undergrowth until they find exactly what they are looking for. The boy's wide, terrified eyes staring back through the ferns. For one long, terrible second, neither of them moves. Then the boy runs. As fast as his legs will carry him, he crashes through the undergrowth, thorns and branches tearing at his arms and shins. He can hear the leopard's powerful paws thundering behind him, closing the gap with terrifying speed. Up ahead, through the trees, light is breaking through. The cliff edge. If he can just reach that, maybe he can find a way down to the river and... No, there is no time for that. Leopards climb and swim better than humans. All the boy can hope is that he is a better jumper. But the leopard's paws are thundering closer, louder. He can feel the heat of its breath on the back of his neck. The trees clear, sunlight hits his skin, a claw slashes across his back, and the boy throws himself off the edge and into open air. His body tilts forward into a tumble, and he can already see the rocks waiting beneath him. The boy closes his eyes and hits the river. Every bit of air leaves his body at once. His knee connects with something hard and sharp beneath the surface. He kicks upward, or what he believes is upward. The boy's head breaks the surface, and he gasps, choking, clawing the water from his eyes. He looks around wildly, and there, making its way down the cliff face on the far side, picking between the rocks with horrible patience, is the leopard. The boy's stomach drops. From the corner of his eye, he could see the leopard slicing through the water behind him, closing the gap with every passing second. Panic surged through him. His strokes grew weaker. Memories flooded in without warning. Laughing with his father on the trail home, the warmth of firelight and campfire stories, the quiet pride in his father's eyes after a good hunt. He began to sink. Cold water rushed into his lungs. His body went limp as the darkness closed in from every direction. He closed his eyes and stopped fighting. Then, something changed. A sudden warmth surged through him from somewhere deep below, revitalizing, rushing, like the river itself had recognized him and pulled him back. His limbs felt strong again. The boy pushed upward and broke the surface with a gasp, swimming now with a power he had never possessed before this moment. The leopard was close, too close, its eyes blazing with raw hunger. But the boy noticed something else, an enormous shadow gliding silently beneath the surface, far larger than anything that had any right to exist in this river. The shadow surged straight toward the leopard. The big cat, locked entirely onto its prey, never saw it coming. The river erupted. A violent explosion of foam and spray crashed over the boy like a wave. He shielded his face as the massive creature burst from the depths, a colossal, scaled titan with rows of razor-sharp teeth, clamping its mighty jaws around the leopard and hoisting the struggling cat high into the air before slamming it against the rocky cliff face. Boulders rained down in a cascade as the leopard's body tumbled back into the churning water below. Snapping out of his trance, the boy swam desperately for the bank. Every muscle burned, but he made it. He dragged himself onto solid ground, gasping, and collapsed. After a long moment, he reached back and touched the skin between his shoulders. He ran his hands over his knees, his shins, every place that had been screaming with pain. All of it gone. His skin was smooth and whole, as if the leopard's claws had never found him at all. He stood slowly, feeling something shift deep inside him. A new current of energy, stronger than anything he had ever felt, running steady and certain beneath his ribs. Behind him, the river creature released a deep, thunderous roar that reverberated through the trees and across the water. With a final thrash of its massive tail, it dove back beneath the surface and vanished, as if it had never been there at all. The boy stared at the river for one long moment. Then he turned toward the village and ran. The roar rolled across the jungle like a living storm. It echoed through the trees, over the hills, and all the way down to the quiet riverside village. Inside the sacred grove, the old chief priest was drawing ancient symbols into the earth of his shrine when the sound reached him. His staff dropped from his fingers, his hands trembled. He knew that roar. The unmistakable cry of the water spirit guardian, the ancient protector of their people. The last time it had shaken the world like this, he had been a small boy. That was a long time ago. Through every offering left at the river's edge, through every dry season and every desperate prayer, the spirit had stayed silent. Generation after generation, the elders had passed the legends down, how the guardian had once defended the village from armies, from beasts, from forces that had no name. How the old king had abandoned the ancient ways for a foreign god, and how the silence that followed had never lifted. Until today. The chief priest knew what most had forgotten. The only true way to summon the water spirit was through the blood of a medium, someone born with the ancient connection to the river, someone through whom the old power could flow freely. He had spent his life searching for such a person and had found none. But someone had called the guardian today, someone whose blood carried the old connection.
I must find this waterman.
Slinging his shaman's bag over his shoulder and moving as fast as his old legs would carry him toward the river, before anyone else does. The same roar reached the enemy war camp in the hills at the very same moment. Around a circle of torches, the war leader had been laying out the final plan for the night raid, the one meant to wipe the riverside village from the earth for good, when the sound arrived and turned every man around that fire to stone. Nobody spoke for a long time. Every warrior there had heard the stories. Entire raiding parties lost to that river without a trace. Warriors swallow between one moment and the next, leaving nothing behind but ripples on the surface. The war leader drove his spear into the ground.
No attack tonight. The beast is awake. Someone in that village has called it.
He pointed at 3 of his quietest scouts, men who could move through the world without leaving a trace.
Go, watch, listen, and when the moment comes, do not hesitate.
They slipped into the darkness without a word. The war leader stared into the fire long after they were gone.